Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. I'm Clinton Jeffrey, soon to be joined by Adam Ross and NASCAR ARCA driver Jason White. We'll also be on the show here shortly. I think I just booted Adam off by mistake. And this is kind of a dirty trick I know I can now play on Adam. That is, if I click on his link that we used to blend it all together, I can kind of just boot him out of the way. So hopefully he gets back to us here shortly. In the meantime, we've got some great stuff to talk about. Jason White's going to be with us tonight. Common rules have been a big deal here on the dirt in Ontario, and they're making some major progress in the asphalt. There, Adam, I must apologize. Did you hear my story on why you got booted out?
Yeah, you're a dick. I'm paraphrasing.
Speaking of being a dick, if we're going to start this way right off the bat, and didn't you say a message to me about how you wanted to play nice today and be professional, and then you start like that? But let's back it up a bit, because every week I go out and I reshare the post that Spencer makes to advertise the show a couple hours before we go on the air, and you just throw me under the bus in every week's tease. I don't understand why that's deserving. And how did we swap? Today you're in the dungeon and I'm in the sunshine.
Did you get a haircut?
Oh, I had to. After the shit kicking I took about my hair last week, Riley and the boys making posts and saying they only watch the show to watch me rock the headband, it was time to get back to work in the new year. So, yeah, all spiced up and ready to rock.
I'm not going to acknowledge the fact that you asked, like, why do I give you a hard time? Why is this guy blue? Nobody cares. It just is.
Fair enough.
So the message I sent you was, the message I sent you was, let's not mess around tonight. We got a great guest. We've got one of motorsport's greatest ambassadors in Canada. Racing Jason White is with us from Sun Peaks, British Columbia. He's going to be doing competing at Speed Weeks. Wow, I'm choking on my words. He was just down there doing an ARCA test, and I chatted with him a little bit on the phone today to get him lined up for tonight. I see he's logged in. Spencer, if Jason's with us, just throw him right up on the okay, I see he's tried to log in here a few times, but Spencer's on top of that. But Clinton, there's not many people in our sport who really embrace their role like Jason White does. And when I say that, he is the link between so many people and grassroots racing, because he's so active and so genuine on social media. It's just a ton of fun.
Well, let's talk about how we got the idea. Every week you and I discuss who we're going to bring on the show. And Jay had just posted a video after his ARCA test on, I think it was Saturday, and we were talking. I said, let's get Jason White. I mean, I've never seen a racer who's almost always got a smile on his face. I have seen him teed up a couple times, but well deserved. But travels a lot, man. You know, a lot of air miles to race here in Ontario and Daytona. So we're excited to have Jason on to talk about that. Spencer, let us know when he arrives. Of course, we're going to get his feelings on the NPS on Dirt race at our Weekend Speedway coming up. Our Burger Bar video of the week this week we'll discuss. It's a video from last night at the Chili Bowl, which brings us to our next topic, Chili Bowl chat. Just throwing out there, anybody who wants to discuss anything, we're there. We'll also get into the live stream versus pay-per-view with some of the announcements that came out this week. And we've got a full show, so great to be here. Thank you for joining us. As always, your comments and questions fuel the show. So if you have anything you want us to talk about, feel free to jump in the discussion. We're all bench racers here. So, Adam, let's jump into common rules till we get Jason back with us, and Spencer will let us know when he's here. Common rules with the Ontario Dirt Competition Committee was a big story last year here in Ontario with the 5 tracks getting together. Southern Ontario Motor Speedway's kind of dropped off on their own now, and we'll talk about Henry again because I took a bit of a lashing from Henry about what was said on the show last week, and we'll kind of throw him a bone, discuss his situation, and explain our thoughts and why we said what we said. At least I'll explain what I had to say. This year, and I see Kelly Hallett, one of our tech inspectors from our Weekend Speedway, who's also involved in the pavement watching, is the hot topic was the asphalt tracks in Ontario, which this is sorely needed. I mean, this was needed more than the dirt guys needed to get together, I think, Adam. And all the asphalt tracks here in Ontario, there's a big bunch of them. And when you hear us talk a lot on this show about when we plan events, race pressure, it's because there are so many tracks out there. So to throw a race on a Saturday, you've got to compete with Merrittville, Sunset, Flamborough. I mean, the list goes on and on, Full Throttle, right? So them all working together is a huge story. Now, they've all come to terms on super stocks, and I'm hearing they're still working on the mini stocks. As a guy who grew up in the asphalt world, knows a lot of these players intimately, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, yeah, you're right. You don't want to say it's about time because it's a really good thing. So you want to give the promoters a bit of a thumbs up for doing a good thing. Yeah, they all got on the same page with rules. I think that's a great plan. There's two exceptions out there. Sauble Speedway, which has really gone with a bit of a bastardized set of rules. They've got a really unique setup on the go. And then, of course, Delaware Speedway. And I'm not sure what the differences are between the Delaware Superstock and the rest, but they're not quite on the program. But there is a large group of racetrack promoters working together and it's better for everybody. It's better for the fan. It's better for the racer. It's better for the tech people. It's better all around.
Well, 100%. And we discussed, the pros and cons of it that we found on the dirt were when you get everybody working together, let's take it back. Maybe a better way to describe it. I mean, the positives are obvious. Why was it that way, Adam? And I think you're absolutely right to say it's about time, or what took so long. And, but we're not looking back now. What's your opinion on why it took this long to get everybody to play closer together? I mean, I have my thoughts on it.
Because the super stock division is a bastard division to begin with. Used to be street stocks, then they, super stock to a limited late model to a late model. It can be really hard to tell the difference. So everyone advanced at a different rate. It used to be super late models, late model sportsmen, street stocks, and then challengers. And then you could put the new style body on the challengers after you could put the new style body on a late model. Then super late models kind of went their own way. They dropped the sportsman tag off a late model sportsman, and then they became late models. And then they became pro late models because they had to allow for limited late models. But don't forget, the super stock is still there, but now it looks like a limited late model, and that looks like a late model. And a super late model went back to a template body, so they look like a late model too. Everything's a late model.
And now they're outdated, so they become Oscar hot rods, right?
Yeah, I think exactly.
I think it took you that long to get my joke. That was like a slow burning fuse. I think it came down to be, and I'll tell you why we saw it on the dirt for many years. The feeling was if I get you, Adam Ross, to build a car for my track on my rules, I've got you. I don't have to share you. I don't have to worry about your race in other places, which is really small-minded, really, in its old school thinking. Let's call it. And I think that's part of the reason what made these guys make that play was the fact that they could, they had you. Now the fact, if we've got everybody on common rules, when your Friday night track rains out, you can all go to the Saturday night track, experiment, have some fun. The other point you've got is we can now do big races together and work it all out. So there's lots of different things that we could do here with the benefit of common rules that you wouldn't have if you're all on islands.
Well, think about it. Really think about it. Sprint car racing, late model racing. In our neck of the woods, we've got modified. So you've got big block, small block, sportsman, pro stocks. In a lot of the United States, you've got sprint cars. It's either a 360 or it's a 410. Now, in the last few years, you've come out with crate sprints or 305 sprints, but the entire world has not dealt with this rules crisis that we have on dirt. Asphalt, it's sort of screwed up across the board, but there's people getting it together and there's people streamlining it. But when you run a special on dirt, you can anticipate drivers coming from all over the place. Like the Sprint Car Nationals, you put big money on the line for a 360 race, and a lot of keynote teams from all over North America show up. They don't have to worry about whether their car is legal or not, because with the exception of a couple of minor things, they can change that on the spot and have it meet the rules. Like a screen, there's this rule for the rock screen that has to be on the cars at our track. Big deal. Buy a rock screen, throw it in, you're good to go.
Yeah, small changes from region to region, but you're right. The core package is where it's at. So it's great to see them get where they are. And I mean, look at the bodies have to be one of the biggest issues, because I know even on the dirt side, we've agreed to common mechanical rules for a few years now. The body is the thing that always comes back to be the problem. And when you take, especially in a support division or a street stock type class where you have a lot of home work done, You know, they're not buying a McCall chassis or a Bicknell body for these cars, or a, you know, triple X frame and body for their sprint car. These guys are fabricating it at home. So I think Kelly and our tech guys will agree. You know, as management, we always look at it and think, okay, well, are these guys out of the box because they're trying to get an advantage, or are they out of the box just because they're shitty fabricators? And a lot of times it's the latter case. You know, it's just a guy trying to cobble his stuff together with duct tape and a few rivets to get back out there. So we can't really do templates anyways.
As an example, use the Oscar modifieds. There were modifieds that raced at Delaware. There were modifieds that raced at Varney. There were modifieds that raced at Moseport. Different places had modifieds, and then Oscar started running them. And you could tell what track a car came from by the way their car was built, by how it looked. Now they're starting to get a little bit more uniform, but like you say, is it poor fabrication, or is it just sort of the nature of the way the cars looked at one track compared to another? But as you streamline these things, I think, and it's an unfair example because Luke Ramsey is really the reason why the APC series has done as well as it has, but you look at what they've done, it's hard to push from the bottom up, Clint, and create something great. But if you come from the top down and say, here's how it's going to be, come race with us, it's going to be worth it, that explains how Kaskar was built. That explains the APC late model series. That explains Oshwegan Speedway's crate division. From the top down is how it's getting built. And if people trust you, they're going to invest, they're going to believe in it, and it creates a great energy.
No, amazing. You touched on the crate, so I'll just add that we are working on right now a master schedule to put together for all the crate guys with available races. And it's amazing to think that we have extra places, and this schedule is going to be quite shocking when you throw in all the Oshwegan dates, all the Quebec dates, all the Brockville dates, the Action Sprint Tour. There's a lot of races for a crate sprint car guy, and it's spreading out. I want to say for anybody down east who's looking to get a crate sprint motor, Yves LaFrance now has his seals. Messaged me yesterday; they've been received. He is full up and rocking in with our Oshwegan seals to build your crate sprint car motor on the eastern side. Also, if you're down here, don't forget our great builders, DSC, Leach, and Klotz have still done a great job helping us build that division as well. And they'd love to have your businesses too. And just while we're on that topic, you know, we've told these guys, Adam, there's not a huge margin in the crate sprint cars. It's pretty much a set price guide, what you got to go with. But the idea is to build that customer base. And when they move that to the ranks, be it to a late model or a 360, whatever, you built that relationship. So it's been exciting there. So much stuff to talk about. What's going on with Jason? We tested. Okay, so let's back things up a bit. When we had our show maybe 6 shows ago, we had a big problem technical. We had a big post-race powwow about it, and we said we're going to fix it. We tested Jason White's audio, his sound, he was good to go. So do you have an update on what's going on?
I almost think that's the problem. When we test it and then they disconnect, there's some problem with them reconnecting. So Jason is right now rebooting his system to try to get it working. If that doesn't work, I'm going to suggest he tries it from his phone.
Okay, so we'll keep chatting away until we get Jason on the line, Adam. Of course, NPS on Dirt is still the website to go to for the big race at Oshwegan Speedway, Tuesday, August 18th. We're talking to Jason White a bit about that, his thoughts of his series, which is his mainstay, going to the dirt. So maybe we'll save that for Jason. Let's jump into our Burger Barn video of the week, Adam. Let's just watch it. It came up on the feed today, this morning, on YouTube, and it's been shared a lot. It's between 2 drivers who got together, maybe a bit longer than we'd normally show, but it tells a story. You and I had a good discussion around dinner time today about it. There's a couple things that I like about it or I don't like about it. So let's get into it. Spencer, roll the Burger Barn video of the week. In fact, before you do that, I should do the Burger Barn read. So don't forget, world famous burger is located in 6 nations. It's your destination for relaxed dining in a comfortable family atmosphere. Their menu features traditional favorites served with a Burger Barn twist. All this at a reasonable price. Make Burger Barn the perfect plate for any occasion. Can't stop in? Call ahead for takeout. Don't forget, Burger Barn gift certificates and cards are available in denominations from $2 to $200. The perfect gift. And while you're there, don't forget to fill up with the brand new Petro Plus fuel station right on the premise of the world famous Burger Barn. Burger Barn video of the week. Roll it.
Yeah, there's some major damage there.
All right, we got a replay coming into the corner, and it's
Rivalz
Rivalz sneaking through, and
there you go. Jeez. That hurt.
This is a closed red situation on the racetrack. 3 wide.
Just not gonna happen.
All right, Marcham is out of the race car, and Brian Ward, you have a driver who might not be happy.
We'll grab a word with him here in just a moment. He's a little disappointed with what happened, says he's all right, but he's got the helmet off, so we'll let him step over here to the vehicle, throws the steering wheel and helmet in, and he will make the walk. We'll walk along with him. Trey, frustrating there on this event. Make it.
He did that twice to me. He did it twice to me. He did it once in the qualifier, and then he did it here, dude. He had no reason to do that. He's always driven like that, dude. He's a piece of shit. I don't like the guy. If he wasn't bigger than me, I'd go whoop his
You've got this tub machine figured out, and I think you'll be able to get some repairs done and come back Saturday. Tell me what gets this car going here, because it's going when you get it set up right.
Yeah, I mean, it's all Mikey, man. Mikey Evans, he's got us hooked up, dude. We're rolling. I got to thank Tub Quality Threads. You know, we're representing good. Got junked. I don't know.
You had tough luck at the shootout, hurt the car pretty bad, then you came back and had a decent showing after you made some repairs, and I think we can expect to see the same here.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I'd like to say yes, but odds are probably not, you know. I mean, there's all these good dudes, and they're all going to be in front of us. We're sitting in a good spot, and now we're going to be running like an F or something, you know. Just we'll try. We'll do all we can.
All right, we're going to let you.
Hey, Brian, let him know he'll be in the D. You make it feel better.
I'm hearing from the booth right now from Brian.
We can cut out. So a bit longer than we normally think. So Aaron Reitzel right-reared him. You know, obviously not intentional, but he felt it did him. The reason we got talking about this video, as a crash reporter, my complaint was that he chased him around too much. You know, as I said to you on the phone, the guy obviously tried to walk away from him 3 times. But then after you go, and maybe it's just my experience or the way I've done it, but I've always been down in the crash scenes. You know that. It's probably what I'm most known for around the racing world, is going to the scene personally. And I mean, just when a guy walks away, you try and let him cool off. And I think, you know, he tried to walk away. Is that badgering him? Is that pestering him? But then the other thing we talk about is you got a hell of a tidbit out of it. You got a sound clip. So does that encourage you to keep pushing those boundaries? Was it a win? Was it a fail? What are your thoughts?
I think it was a win. I mean, you've got a job to do. I get it. We show people, so at our Schweeken Speedway, and it's been like this for years, we give people the opportunity to not talk. But that's a pay-per-view. Like, people are paying to watch that feed. You got to get the story, track it down. Clearly he wanted to talk because he spoke quite clearly. He had things to say that weren't that kind to his competition. Now, that's not what I'm going to pick on the interviewer for. Want to know why I want to pick on the interviewer?
Yeah, you're writing a novel over there or what? The viewers are watching here, waiting for you to catch up.
I wanted you to acknowledge that I had made a point.
You're full of shit. Don't ask. That was not.
Stop it.
That was not.
Don't ask them who their sponsors are.
Even on purpose.
Would you like? Who helped you get here? Piss off with that. The fact that you're doing a pay-per-view, the fact that it's a mainstream broadcast, it's a hot moment. If they don't mention their sponsors or who helped them get there, do not feed it to them. It grinds my gears. It's amateur hour, and we do it at Ashweekon because we have a more grassroots program. But Clinton, you work the TSN broadcast. You're the one that gets to talk to the driver. So I don't. I have a booth job. Have you ever said, who'd you like to thank for getting you here this week?
Never. And you're right. You know, when we're on national TV with our young guys, they're 14 years old. You know, these guys are pros at the biggest dirt race of the year with the most eyes on it. You've got to work it out, right? And I agree. I'm 100% with you there. The other thing that, I guess my beef is you could just tell that he didn't want to say anything bad. He was trying to be classy and tried to walk away. And, it's like your mom says, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. But then finally, after the fourth time of being pigeoned, he had to go for it. And I don't know. Not my favorite style, but it was just something you and I talked about today, and it brought up a good topic. Was it a good deal or not?
He gave a good interview. So hats off. So I cut up the interviewer a little bit, but he was tenacious. He got the story he needed to get. The driver did a good job, even though he didn't want to. So, I mean, all in all, the fans got what they deserve out of it. They got a story. There's just little things about it that we pick apart because that's what we do.
Chili Bowl going on this week, of course. Lots of people watching that this weekend. We've got a lot of big stars at that event, of course, and we'll talk about it next week a bit more in the show. It'll be one of our guys connected to us, Christopher Bell, Rico, one of those guys who gets it done. Maybe Larson, we can get them on the show. Rico and Bell both did talk about coming on post Chili Bowl on the program. So that's exciting for us to talk about having them on as well. Still no Jason White.
No, we got him. We got Spencer. Throw him on. Jason, thank you so much. If this was anyone but Jason White, he'd have given up, cussed our names, and been at the bar by now. Oh, look at this. I thought great, man. I thought you were a Seahawks fan. Or is your son a Seahawks fan?
Son. That would be
there
my
you go.
son. He's a Seahawks fan. I am a diehard 49ers faithful.
It's a good year to be a 49ers fan.
Yeah, for sure.
Jason, welcome to the show. We got picked up with you after watching your social media from your Daytona test last week. That got Adam and I talking about getting you on the program. You're very vocal with your social media. How are things been going for you? First off, I'll get the welcome. Adam will get the first question.
Right on. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. Go ahead, Adam.
You know what, Jason? First off, congratulations. 100 starts in the NASCAR Pinty Series, the first Western Canadian driver to hit 100. That's a huge milestone. You did that in 2019, so congratulations. But I'm more excited about the 2 or 3 starts that you've had in the Truck Series and the ARCA Series. Talk about why. Why, at this point in your life, forget about your career. Because you have a good career, you run a good business out west, your family has been racing forever. At this point in your life, why was it important to you to go truck racing and ARCA racing?
Well, the biggest thing in racing is opportunities. And, I've had a lot of opportunities throughout the CASCAR Series and throughout NASCAR Canadian Tire and then Pinty Series. And people along the way are very helpful. And one of the biggest advocates of my career is DJ Kennington. And he's given me lots of opportunities at all different levels. And he introduced me to Rayoon Brothers Racing a couple years back to get into the truck race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And that blossomed into, going to Phoenix and then going back to Daytona or going to Daytona. And before I did Daytona, I had to go and do the graduation process where I got into the ARCA Racing Series with Andy Hillenberg's Fast Track Racing, which is a wonderful group of people. And just keep moving on and meeting great racing people, which I've been doing all my life ever since I was born. Basically, I've been in racing, and most of our great friends and we consider them family all come from racing. So I just I seen opportunities arise, and getting down to Daytona the first time last year was absolutely mind blowing. And it wasn't much different last week. It was blowing the cobs out. It was mind blowing as well. But just basically opportunities arose, and I'm an opportunist. I keep taking those opportunities. I've got great people behind me. I've got great groups behind me that support me and always have since day one. So just keep plugging away and see what we can do and just get our best results we possibly can.
Talk about the difference, Jason. Sorry, Clint, one more and then I'll send it back to you. Talk about the difference between the short track racing that you've spent your whole life doing and being on a super speedway in that draft, closing laps of a race, and you're in contention for a great finish.
Well, it's apples and oranges, really. I mean, I've said this for a long time. The group that we race with in the NASCAR Pinty Series is some of the best racers in the world. The talent level and the different things that we do, and I'm sure Clint's going to bring up one in a bit here too. The different types of racing that we do is grooming great race car drivers. And I'm not putting myself in that category, but what I'm getting at is there's a lot of people in Canada that can go down and do these things, and we've seen it happen before. And what we do up here when we're on the shorter tracks, and you know, we're going 120, 130 miles an hour at the most on the short tracks, and then we're getting up to, you know, some higher speeds on the road courses. When you get to Daytona and you go there the first time, you know, I called DJ the first morning that I was going, and he said, you know, you just got to relax and just have the faith that the car is going to hold when you go into turn 3 for the first time wide open. And sure enough, it does. The engineers say there's 35% more grip than you actually need. And it's just absolutely, it's mind blowing the first couple times you go around it. And, you know, having said that, I got back into my sophomore year this year, and I went to the test last week, went right out. My first 2 laps, I was right to the high side. I want to go see what the car's going to do on the high side, because I found last year I needed to be up there. I was bumper, you know, pushing with Bobby Gerhardt and Todd Gilliland and Leilani Munter and, you know, Tad Moffitt and people like that. And I felt that that's where I needed to be. So this time I didn't have to worry about what was this going to feel like and what's the adrenaline going to do to me. It was like, I need to go up there right now. I don't have very many test laps before I get to Daytona on February 8th. So I need to get up there and move around. And I was, you know, practicing a lot of different things. If you have to move in the corners, if you have to go down, if you have to go up. So I was moving the car around a lot, and just boils down to I was a lot more confident this last week than I was last year, for sure.
Jason, obviously, in today's day and age, there's a lot of technology out there. We have our iRacing leagues going on right now in the background. Right now in the sprint car world, we have our blacktop rivals going on. Any simulations going on? Any type of practice like that to get yourself acclimated to the super speedway?
I do it for vision points. My son and I play NASCAR Heat, and I do it for the vision of where the fence posts are, really, like stuff like when you're coming to the start finish line on your in lap for truck qualifying, which is single truck qualifying. You've got to stay as high as you possibly can on your in lap, and when you come to the start finish line, you've got to dive, and you can actually watch the RPM gauge rise about 400 RPM as you dive down the angle of the track, and you suck down to that yellow line. So the sim stuff is really good for that sort of thing for me. I don't have a real good simulator, so I can't really say I'm getting one. I just built a new house. You guys are actually in my man cave of my new house here. So I am going to get a simulator pretty soon, and I'm going to get more into it, especially for road course racing and stuff. I think whenever we get on to the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on NASCAR Heat, it's awesome to see what we actually get to do on the screen. And then not only that, there's potential that I could possibly be in that game this year. I just signed all the documentation last week to be in the game. So, you know, when you can get yourself out there and you can get your, you know, get your braking points, and you can figure it out. It's kind of, the reality of it is pretty cool. I'm pretty looking forward to getting myself a really good simulator.
Nice. Now, did you build a house right on the resort, Jason? So you live in Sun Peaks, British Columbia, which is a resort town. Great place to be there right now, I would think.
We've had 11 feet of snow in the last 6 weeks. So yeah, we're pretty happy about that up here at the resort. I think that would be the only place in Canada that you could say you're happy with that, is at a ski resort. So we're pretty stoked about that. And yeah, we built a house. I've lived here for 25 years or so. And we have very good business up here in excavation and the snow removal business. So we've got lots to do. And my son and my daughter, they're both avid skiers. My son's very competitive in the freestyle world. So we're just keeping on the tracks of being in Sun Peaks, and you know, working hard and playing harder is what I say.
Nice. Well, I've seen pictures that you post. Actually, 2 of my cousins were just at Sun Peaks Resort last week, so they were out there skiing and posting pictures of what they were up to. I was trying to compare their pictures to things that I've seen from you, but it definitely does look like a beautiful part of the world.
Well, they would have needed their snorkels last week up here because there was so much snow. We didn't know when it was going to stop. It just keeps coming, and we got a bit of a cold snap right now, but it's keeping the snow nice and dry, so that's good.
So, like, we're in Southern Ontario, right? So when we go to Florida, they're like, oh, you guys live in igloos and 11 feet of snow. And we're like, no, not all Canada's like that. You're like holding that flag high for us. Like, yeah, 11 feet of snow, right? So that's why they ask us if we're buried up here. But Jay, let's move on to something else. You know, your attitude, you always seem giddy. And that's a good thing. You know, a lot of us get crusty in this sport. You seem like you've always got a smile on your face. You look like you're really living this to the fullest and enjoying it and really, you know, guys bullshit and say, oh, I'm soaking, I'm living full. But you look like you really are. Like, talk about your enjoyment of this deal. Like, of course, we all love racing, but it's written all over your face in everything you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've always seen myself, especially in this series for the last, you know, whatever we've been in this now 12 or 13 years, is I'm a big advocate of this, and I support the people who support us, being, you know, the Anthony Spitaris of Pinty's, and, you know, he was out west here for quite a while. We kind of had connections through that. And again, I go back to the connections of the people, and I get to do this stuff through connections, and I meet people. And I grew up, I was really young when my dad and my brother were racing full-time in super modifieds, and I was too young to go into the pits. So I grew up on the outside of the fence, and there's a lot of promoters, a couple of them aren't around anymore, that I learned a lot from. And I learned that the promotion of racing is the most important part of racing. So I see myself as more of a promoter / racer than I do as a driver / racer. But it seems that the more you do the promotion and the more you understand the how marketing works in motorsports, the activation, the engagement, the return on investment, the brand awareness, all of those words that we use, the keywords and the key phrases that we use, I've learned that along the way. I think more than a lot of people have. I am, and I believe I'm one of the best racers that there is. That doesn't mean that I'm the guy that's going to wake up on Saturday morning and go, I'm going to go out and kick everybody's ass that day. You'll never hear me say that. But I will go out and put myself in a position to win. And if the cards fall right, then I can have great finishes, which last year I had some great finishes, and I've had some great finishes in the past before. But there's some things I've done to align myself to be in these bigger races and on these bigger tracks. And you know what? When I was in 15th last year in the ARCA race with 15 laps to go, I was just mind boggled that I was in this position that I could win this race. And sure enough, you know, Richard Petty's grandson blew a tire in front of me, and there was nowhere I could go. I door slapped the wall, and we ended up finishing 16th or something. But it's so fun to be in these races. And, you know, some of these other things that we've done, and, you know, going to the Toronto Indy, and people don't understand being in the Pinty's Grand Prix on the, you know, on that track. They don't understand how awesome that is. And they don't understand how we're actually giggling in our helmets going around those tracks. And, you know, there's people that ask me all the time, what's it like? I said, I don't know. Sometimes it's just, I'm laughing that it's so fun. And it's just it's so amazing that I get to do this. And I'm blessed. I'm really blessed that I get to work hard and play harder.
I hate to do this, but I wish we had footage of Jason. Did you interview him, Clinton? I can't even remember what race it was, but I've never seen him so angry in all my life. Talking about giddy and having fun. What was the race? You held on to it pretty well, Jason, but you were pissed.
Yeah.
What was
it?
It was an A&W car, I think. One of my first races with Pinty's in the TSM deal.
But it's good. You get the goods.
Yeah, for sure. We're all
Jason,
emotional in many different, you know.
You mentioned the Weekend race and the different disciplines the series goes. This is obviously a major curveball for a lot of teams and competitors. What are your thoughts on the race at Weekend on August 18th?
I can't wait. I just think, you know, I started in dirt when I was 15 years old on the dirt track. Actually, just one sec.
Oh, awesome.
That's my first race car when I was 15 years old.
See, a lot of people probably don't know that about you. I didn't know you had that dirt experience. So
yeah, I mean, to say I got a lot of experience out of it would be an exaggeration, but that's where I started, and that's where I learned how to control a race car. I mean, Adam has said that I put on the best smoke shows in the business, but sometimes I really don't like that analogy.
Jason, what you do takes skill, because a lot of people, you know, when you've lost a race car, and a lot of people make the mistake of trying to save it, and they wind up in harm's way and they wreck. You don't wreck. you know when you've lost it, and you peg the throttle, and it's a hell of a show, and smoke goes everywhere. But by and large, you rarely hit anything. Like that's usually your out plan, right? So you grab a gear and take off again.
Yeah, and you know that comes from the dirt. You really know when you're on the cushion, and you know when something's going to go awry, and you know that you got to lock it down, or when you got to lock it down, and when you got to put your foot in it and try and spin it out. So yeah, you know, going back, Clinton, to the Oshweekend thing, when I saw that on the schedule, I just thought, man, that's a leveling in this series, because if you look at the the champions in the last few years, if you have a good road racing season, you got a way better chance of winning the championship in the Pinty Series than you did if you had a great oval season and you were last or in the last quarter of the field in the road races. You're not going to win the championship. So I think this is going to bring the level down just a little bit to some others, to open it up to win a race, and it'll have a huge influence on the championship. In my opinion, I think it's something that is great for the sport. I think it's great for the sponsors. I mean, I'm pretty sure Anthony's jumped on board with this. I haven't talked to him since, but I'm pretty sure he's right on board with it, because it's going to put on a hell of a show. And yeah, let's get dirty. I'm ready.
I can tell you, Anthony dragged all of us by the collar together and said, we've got to do this. So, he's super pumped about it. And some of my favorite parts of the day are sending Tony little tidbits about all the stuff that's going on with this race as it comes together. So we're excited about that. Jason, tell us about the team you're going to be with in Daytona, what your Daytona schedule looks like, and maybe a bit about your Pinty's team, who you'll be driving for this season.
Yeah, you bet. No problem. Well, starting off, like I said, last week I was with Andy Hillenberg in Fast Track Racing. Great group of guys. He's got 3 cars in the show, so we'll be in the 11 car again, as we were last year. It's a Chevrolet, so we're really excited about that. We take to the track on the 7th, which is a Friday. We practice. And then Saturday morning we qualify. It's group qualifying, but it's more of a stacked group qualifying. You go out in a 5-car stack and you draft for qualifying. It's the oddest thing I've ever seen, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's something different. So we qualify on Saturday morning and we race on Saturday evening. And then hopefully that all goes well and we can get ourselves top 10. The car worked really well in single car runs. We didn't get a lot of people wanting to draft with us. We had 2 or 3 cars that we drafted with a little bit, but everybody groups up together. The teams will group together. All of the Venturini cars will only draft with themselves, and the DGR Crosley, they only draft with themselves. So to try and get some of the faster cars to draft with you in practice, it doesn't really give you a sense of speed and how much speed the car has in the draft. So they're just going to keep working on it. We'll work on it in practice, see if we can hook up with some people in draft, and just like I said before, be in that position at the end of the race, in the last 20 laps, be in that lead pack or just a little bit behind it without losing the draft. And that's kind of our focus there. And like I said, top 10, if we can get a top 10, you can get a top 5 with in the ARCA series. So moving on, we will be with Rayum Brothers Racing, who I've raced a few races with now with Josh Rayum. In the 33 truck or possibly the 34 truck. There's some things that are happening right now, but it'll be either the 33 or the 34. And that'll be in the Gander RV Outdoor Truck Series. And we race on Valentine's Day. So I'm glad the family's coming down. I get to spend it with my wife, Melissa, and we can do that. And then, get it again, that we're going to be just trying to keep the truck in one piece as long as we can. Last year, Josh finished 6th in this race by just being patient and holding on. And with the last green, white checkered, he went from 11th to 6th. So I'm just going to try and take that analogy. And, I got some friends in that race. Jesse Little's a really good friend of mine. He's going to be in that race. He's going to be in a truck that's fairly similar to mine. So we're going to take it easy together and maybe draft a bit together and work on some stuff and try and be there at the end to just get the best possible finish and stay away from the carnage, as you've seen at Daytona in the truck race the last few years. So that's the truck deal. And then moving on, I've been with CBRT the last couple of years. Sounds like CBRT's not going to be doing a lot this year, if anything. But I'm moving back to my roots, and I'm going to go do a few races with DJ Kennington, with DJK Racing. So he doesn't really want to do much with the third team this year, so we're just going to pick a few races. We'll probably be at Mosport for the first race. The first UCASA race is my daughter's graduation, so I definitely won't be out racing on that weekend. But we're looking at Weekend and possibly Sunset, and then maybe the last UCASA or something. But there's nothing really etched in stone. We know we're going to do 3 or 4 races. We just don't know which ones. And then we're working on a truck deal for Phoenix and Talladega. So it's doesn't sound like much racing, but I'm glad it's spread out over 8 months from February to October, because it is quite a bit going on, especially with my businesses being so busy. I got to keep concentrating on that. But in a nutshell, that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
Jason, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Your perseverance is much appreciated, because we had some nightmares getting you connected. But thanks so much. Good luck in Daytona. Be safe. Have fun. And we'll look forward to you reporting back.
I appreciate you guys having me on. And, this is great. Keep doing this stuff. We got a couple guys out west here, in Victoria, Western Speedway. They're doing the same sort of online thing you guys are doing. I think it's great. It's an easy way for everybody to keep in touch and to kind of keep everybody informed of what's going on and moving and stuff like that. But once again, thank you very much, and go Niners.
I so dislike San Francisco.
Adam, did you see the 11 car he's driving in this ARCA race? It is like shiny and chrome. Oh man, it is a gorgeous piece. Want to welcome everybody watching us. If you just joined us, that was Jason White, ARCA and NASCAR truck driver. Also is part of the Pinty series. So Jason, thank you for being with us all the way from Sun Peaks, British Columbia. Adam, we've covered a lot. Let's move into our next, which would be, I guess, our discussion about pay-per-view versus game. But before we get into that, let's remind you about our great Six Nations. Whether you're looking for a new experience or you're a bingo fanatic, Nations Bingo, the preferred choice for players for over 20 years. It's easily accessible off Highway 54 between Brantford and Caledonia, and they offer the largest and friendliest bingo hall in the region. Every time you're there, don't forget to sign up for the Grand Rewards Club. Earn valuable points every time you play. Six Nations Bingo, 2585 Chiefswood Road, just north of Highway 54, about 1 mile north of Ohsweken Speedway. Also, while we're talking about that, Adam, they've got some new stuff going on out there. They've got the gathering place right beside, which you and I are talking about some cool stuff going on with your Mindwell sessions, possibly going to be working out. And at Chiefswood Park, for those of you who know, the campground right at the corner of 54 and Chiefswood, Six Nations Bingo, Chiefswood Park, and Gathering Place are all run by the Six Nations Development Corp. And I believe I may have that wrong, but the Six Nations folks out there running those 3 businesses. New this year, log cabins at Chiefswood Park. So if you're looking to come to Ohsweken Speedway and grab some accommodations in the campground, beautiful brand new log cabins they've just built. We'll get some photos of those coming up in the coming weeks as they will expand their marketing with us here on Rivalz. Once again, Clinton, Jeffrey, and Adam here. What's going on over in Rivalz? Sorry, racing over there, Spencer. What's going on tonight in the Rivalz Racing Elite Pro Division? So they're working over there.
We've got some technical challenges getting the signal pushed through. I can say that at the Chili Bowl, Larry White is lightning fast. Connor actually just messaged me from his bedroom because he's competing, of course, in the Rivalz Elite Series. And we've got the Chili Bowl streaming on the TV in his room. So he has to give us our reports, but he says Larry White's pretty damn fast so far.
So if I understand correctly, the races are going okay. We're just having a tech up on the broadcast. Is that it? Perfect. Makes sense. Okay. So either way, for all of you looking, Rivalz Elite Pro is going on. What a great season it's been, Adam. Our cash league running along nicely. We'll get a full update on that next week. I'll bring the Ovens boys back in. They had a good showing in Philadelphia at the Eastern Motorsports Press Association. Great to see iRacing notified. That brings us to our next segment, live stream versus pay-per-view. So you know what side of the fence I'm on. I'm full on the live stream. And a lot of the other tracks are coming out with pay-per-view, Adam. So the thoughts are, I guess we shouldn't maybe, take them backwards by they're finally getting there. We should be happy they are. So Land of Legends just announced they're going to do a whole season of subscriptions. So you can pay, I believe it was $150 for the whole year to watch the entire season. Didn't get all the particulars on it. Then Dirt Track Digest TV, which we're associated with, still running all their programs. They just announced today that they're going to be doing every race from Fonda for a pay-per-view deal. Now, us at Ashwegan Speedway, we give live stream. So what are your thoughts on these two postings recently, Adam? And do you think we're going to see more of them coming out?
Yeah, I think we are. And a lot of the reason, Clinton, is it's becoming more and more accessible for people to stream events. So you don't need the thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment that you would have once needed to actually do this. So I think it's a good thing. Ultimately, look at it this way. You want to get the most eyeballs you can on the product. Our opinion has always been, and when I say ours, it's your decision. I just feed my thoughts into your mind, but has always been put it out for free because we can sell advertising and you're going to get your money that way. Whereas most promoters are most comfortable saying, no, if people want to watch, just like coming to the race, you got to buy a ticket. You're going to pay to watch. Whatever puts eyeballs on the sport. And that's been a formula that the video producers and the broadcast teams could work with, right? So regardless of how you get there, as long as you're putting eyeballs on the cars and still trying to promote people come out and support racing live, ultimately we want as many people in the grandstands as we can get. But knowing that not many people go to each and every race on a Friday night at Ashwegan, but there are a fair number who watch each and every Friday night. They look forward to it. So you're gaining eyes.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I mean, the big debate we face at the Speedway is the live stream hurting the live crowd, right? I tend to think it's not. I mean, the numbers show we're up 10%. Now, we have amazing growth in everything car count. So to equate it, it's like when an advertising guy calls me and says, "How are the numbers last year?" And I say, "We're up 10%." He says, "Those ads really did a good job, didn't you?" You can't just steal all the credit for that. There's many things that go into that. So I think the point of that is they're not down. Okay, so we're not going backwards. My fear with the pay-per-view, and I mean, when we started the live stream versus pay-per-view debate at Ashwegan a few years back in deciding, my fear about pay-per-view, and the folks around me have heard me say this, pay-per-view is great, but the only people who care about your pay-per-view are people who already care about your sport. So in my opinion, a pay-per-view is actually hurting because you're making it easy for the only people who are coming to your show to sit home now. When you do a live stream and you open it up to the world, you now should be gaining a lot more new people seeing your product, at which point you get those new folks coming out. So I don't know. I'm worried about pay-per-views because, yeah, if I care about Ransomville Speedway and they did one and I went there or I stopped going and just paid that, I'm one less butt in the seat every week. Does that make sense? Am I on the right path at all? And I think that the trade-off is, sure, you still get the same thing in live stream, but you have the potential to give a lot more. Let me put it to you this way. Do you think Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, NBA would be as big as they are if only the Toronto Maple Leafs did their own pay-per-view and only the New York Rangers did their review and only the Blue Jays did their own pay-per-view? The only people who would give a shit about that are the people who care about the Blue Jays and the Rangers. You don't have any outside new interest. That's just my feeling on it. And I'm so glad these promoters are finally getting on board. They were going to lose the people anyways. You might as well try and cling to them. But it frustrates me that it's still old school thinking. I think you need to be braver. Can I say that? And I mean, the next topic that we're going to talk about is some of the stuff we said last week that got us in a lot of trouble. But I firmly believe in this conviction. You got to be braver. You got to give it away, and you got to sell the ads. You must go to work, but it will work for you if you work for it. Sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Spencer, let's watch the first lap or two of this B main. Let's go full screen on the B main. Last chance to get in the show. I see Ryan Beagle and Chris Steele are up front of this one. We're about to go green.
Last shot to get yourself in the B main. Green lights are on. 13 cars to take the green. 12 laps the distance, and 12 cars will make it into tonight's A. Ryan Beagle will lead them into turn number 3 as, oh, baby, look out. They are 3 wide in turn number 4. One car goes around. It's Jack Clevenger. He gathers in the 60 of Rick Scott. They are hard on the gas. That's the battle for the final transfer spot right now, as Scott runs away with it. as we take a peek back up front. Battle on from positions number 2 on back. What a run here for Chad Cote in the 11. The victory gains Instapanels, 96 Designs, Epsilon Sprint Wraps, number 11, trying to make those rear tires grip the dirt.
Well, let's come on back, Spencer, because we've got to get through a couple more topics before we sign off for the night and make way for the A main event. So, but Clinton, some good racing going on at Williams Grove. That's a place that is polarizing.
Steeler got
People love
stuck in the
Williams
wall
Grove
there early. How cool is it to Steve Ovens say Rick Scott running away with it, the last chance spot? So we'll see if Rick can hold on to that deal.
No, I think he got collected.
Pretty cool.
I think what he said was Rick Scott got collected.
Oh, really?
Wreck, but I could be wrong. I think so. Jack Clevenger. Yeah, it's Ryan Beagle out in front. But anyhow, let's move on. I'm interested in this next topic because speaking of iRacing, this is going to be interesting.
Well, Spencer can throw up the screenshot of Doug Kobe's Twitter or tweet. So, Adam, explain what we're reading here. Kobe is.
So today on social media, Justin Bonsignor and I saw people who drive race cars on computers having media days announcing sponsorships with JR Motorsports and hanging out with Denny Hamlin on Lake Norman. And I got to move my camera here. It makes real race car drivers want to puke. #NASCAR. Now, I like it when people give real opinions, and some of these NASCAR modified racers are pretty good at that. You know, you've seen Bowman Gray Stadium, so you want to talk about making a mockery of racing. Let's talk about modified racing at Bowman Gray, where sheriffs are required each and every week. Like it's a carnival. And I'm not saying it to knock Bowman Gray, but it's you can't compare that to the rest of the racing world, just like you can't compare iRacing. It seems to me that people are butthurt because a form of competition that is growing in ways that modified style racing never did and never will are getting some attention. So, I mean, yeah, I get the point. Well, I love modified racing. Richie Evans is one of the best race car drivers who ever lived. Modifieds are great, but don't Clinton, you don't gain prestige by running down the competition.
Okay, so let me stop you right there. I agree with you, but how dare you put iRacing in competition with a tour-type modified driver who spent all those years together? Playing the devil's advocate now, there are a lot of people are going to say, how are they a competition? Well, I'll tell you how they're a competition. Not. They are. Here's the way. What's the complaint? The complaint is it's a competition over attention. The iRacing guys got the attention. He didn't get the attention in this competition. So there's the competitive end of things where they kind of lost. So, yeah, they are competitors. Let's face it. You said it. iRacing has a lot more eyes and is definitely on an upswing a lot more than tour-type modifieds are, right? But there is still a lot to be said about a racer who goes out, puts the work in, makes it happen, and does it on the track compared to a lot of these guys. And I would even say it the same way as, like we like to call it, outdoor, big-time, real racing, whatever you want to call it. You have guys in that as well who put the full effort in compared to guys who just show up and go. And, you know, you got it in both iRacing and real racing. But the guys who put the time in need to be respected just as much as the guys who put the time in the shop, don't they?
There's no reason to disrespect anybody. That's my point. What Doug Kobe did got great attention. I mean, that's the most famous tweet that Doug Kobe will probably ever make.
So and maybe he is winning the attention competition.
Sure, but if you want to look at it this way, if you're going to knock iRacers, I get it. Are you also going to knock cup racers? Because how many of them have laid under the car to change a set of rear end gears?
Yeah. Well, that was my argument, not his. So, but anyways, it did get a lot of flavor today on the web and in social. It was quite a hot topic among racers.
And it offended different people, but it probably served its purpose. So I think if you want to peel away layers, there are people who feel slighted because they have spent so many hours and so many years and so many hundreds of thousands of dollars to go out and compete. And now they see people who don't have the sweat equity or the financial equity invested in the sport raised to a level that's higher than they've even achieved in terms of attention, in terms of announcements. Yeah, it might get you a little upset, but I'm going to say maybe there'd be a better way to present that argument. But if you followed on social media activities in the NASCAR style modified racing ranks, you will see some very emotional, very passionate, and very misguided comments. I mean, it gets nasty.
Sure does. So we'll follow that story, and we'll see how Kobe makes it through the next week on social media and try not to get eaten up by the iRacers. Southern Ontario Motor Speedway is a topic on the board today. And if you watched our show last week, we talked a bit about Southern Ontario Motor Speedway and all the work that Henry's got ahead of him. And I got a call from Henry. He wasn't pleased at him. He said we weren't doing him any favors, and we certainly weren't helping the cause. So my argument to him was, well, we only showed the video that you showed on Facebook. So not like we had spies in there going at it. We're going to try and get Henry on the show next week to talk about his side of things. Said he was busy tonight. He's out there working, trying to put it all together. But, I'll still stand behind what we said. If you saw the video, all the work Henry's got to do, he's got a long way to go to make it before the season comes. We wish him all the best. Hopefully he comes on next week. But I still stand behind what we said, which is, it's tough. And they got a lot of work to do between now and May. There's no question about it.
You sent me a note just after he called you, Clint. Do you remember what I replied with?
No, I don't.
I guess we know he watches the show.
Yeah. I don't think he watched. Somebody told him about it, but
someone must have told him.
No, I think
but it's good. It's good that people pay attention.
As I said to you on the phone, it does us no good to tear Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, Buxton, Henry apart. We certainly don't need to tear them down. We don't need to bully them. We were just basically telling the story as we saw it. And like I said, we still stand behind what we said. You've done this over 20 years. If it comes out of our mouth, we're pretty much ready to back it up. But I think I told Henry we'd do what we could to help him. I mean, we want every track to be healthy. And if there's any track out there that we can help, we certainly want to do it. So I said, we'll give you the platform. Come on yourself. Let us know what we need to do. Let us know what you need. Give us your side of the story. But in the end, down to we didn't tear down. We didn't take the light posts out. We didn't take the fence down. They did that themselves. So hopefully you can get it all back together. And Henry, come on next week and we work.
Well, and if they have a work party down there, Clinton, we're going to be the first people to promote it. I can't promise that I'll be in knee-high boots with shovels down there, but we'll promote the heck out of it. And if people are interested in going down to offer any support they can, we'll be here to talk about it. And we'll be here to promote it and try to get him whatever help he needs.
Yeah, we'll just talk to Henry about that. A few other things, ready to wrap up the show. Just remind everybody, one of our newest supporters is Schweeken Speedway Racehorse, located the fastest growing sprint car market in North America at the world famous Schweeken Speedway. Nobody has more laps, wins, and time spent at the Speedway than our experts. And his choice for sprintables. Hobbies at OSR Parts Info at OSR.com. Car and pieces. All right. So that wraps up tonight's show. Gridding the A main at Williams Grove, Elite Pro. Adam, it's 10. Blacktop Rivals tomorrow night. Let everybody know maybe how they can get involved. Ready.
If you're on iRacing, just search Rivalz with a Z. Find our Blacktop Rivals series. We will be streaming on the Rivalz Racing League Facebook page tomorrow night. We race at Iowa. It's the last of the recruiting races. It's free. All you have to do is show up. If you've got an iRacing setup, come on out and play with us. It is going to be all sorts of fun.
All right. Is that Nygaard and GT Smith on the front row?
I just looked at the same thing. Hot dog. This is going to be fun to watch.
What? Now, congrats to everybody. The Elite Pro Division tonight. Great to see them always putting on a great show. Want to thank the Ovens boys for their production. We'll get ready to turn it over to Steve Ovens with Brad as they give us the production here of Pro Division as we do end our show with the A-Main feature. Adam, anything you want to say before we cut off? Thanks to Jason White for being with us tonight.
No, that's it. Thanks to Jason White. Looking forward to watching this race, and I'm looking forward to going in to check out the Chili Bowl.
Exciting. Stay safe. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Shane Pierce will take it away from position number 10. Then we will take it back to row 6. Alex Bergeron will start 10th. Starting 11th is Jeffrey Barker. Starting 12th is Cody Hartlob. Then we will bring it back to row number 7, Ryan Beagle and Dakota Kuhn. Row number 8 will be the 13 of Keith Jackson, the 19 of Jeremy Zarfos. Row 9 will be Brennan Lacey and Chris Steele. Row 10 will be Chad Cote and Adam Buchanan. Row 11, Trevor Grabow and Stephen Goldner. And rounding out the field will be Jesse Costa and Rick Scott. We want to welcome our fans that have just tuned in here from the Rivalz chat program. 3-9 Streaming, Turn 5 Media, bringing you live coverage here from the Williams Grove Speedway. And it was at this point in the racing program, each and every Saturday night, that Gary Montgomery would say, race fans, it's time to sit down and hold on to your seats, because these men, by the grace of God, iRacing and 800 horsepower, are ready to go to work. The green lights are on. Rivalz Elite Pro Series from Williams Grove is on. Oh, baby, there is nothing better than that shot. Watching these 360 sprint cars race into your living room. As you see that wide shot down the backstretch into turn number 3, they put lap number 1 on the board. Jason Nygaard leads, and we have got a caution here right off the drop of the green, and it is your points leader, Alex Bergeron. Alex Bergeron involved in your first yellow flag of the night. What a tough break. We talked about it here in the pre-race. Bergeron was your fast time trialer of the night. However, finished 4th in a very, very competitive heat race, which relegated him to starting spot number 10. So we're going to watch Bergeron here on the replay. And, just a tough racing incident there. Bergeron was coming with a full head of steam on the outside lane. I believe that was Shane Pierce. And certainly Pierce didn't see that Bergeron was coming that quick there on the outside. Bergeron and Pierce made contact, which sent Bergeron careening into Dakota Kuhn. And a chain reaction of events there to put us under the yellow as we work lap number 3. You see a great shot of it there on the onboard. Tough break there for the head shoe for Team ABR. Props to Brad Ovens, our executive producer in the 3-9 Streaming Studios. Our award-winning executive producer at that. Working the hamster wheel tonight, working on those replays for us, doing a great job. While we work the yellow, here's a good opportunity to remind you that 3-9 Streaming and Turn 5 Media bringing you 3 straight nights of live racing action here on the iRacing platform. We're here with you tonight with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Tomorrow night, we will be at the Phoenix Raceway for the Rivalz Blacktop Series. Coverage starts just after 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. The main event will kick off at about 8:45, so tune in for that. We will bring you live coverage right on the Rivalz Racing League Facebook page and the 39 Design Company page. Check that out. Back to green here off turn number 4. Jason Nygaard jumping out to the outside lane, but Larry Moody is coming with him. Larry Moody, who finished top 3 last night with the Ohsweken Outlaws Renegades division, really got some solid track time last night, got to perfect his setup on a long green flag run, as we had several long green flag runs with the Ohsweken Outlaws last night. So Larry Moody's going to be one to contend with, but look at this battle from third on back. Troy Wagaman, Alan Downey, and GT Smith. By far the best run of the season here so far for GT Smith, picking up a heat race win earlier tonight for the driver out of Tampa Bay, Florida. Battle for the lead down the back straightaway, and Larry Moody has pulled a wheel up alongside Nygaard. Moody down to the inside lane. Now he'll take it out through the middle, and he's going to try and drive it right through the slick as Nygaard gets the power off the outside of turn number 4. But Moody is still there. Yellow lights are on here for the second time tonight as we've got an incident over in turns 1 and 2, and Bergeron is involved again. Oh my. Boy, not to kick a guy when he's down, but it has not been Alex Bergeron's night. He has got heavy front end damage on that 12. The front wing is completely gone off the 12 machine. And as far back in the pack as he's going to start on this restart, I question whether they'll bring that car down the pit lane. I see he's trying to weave that car back and forth as you see the replay here. So an incident there in turn number 1. And Bergeron will bring the 12 down the pit lane. Keith Jackson was involved in that in car number 13. He will come down the pit lane as well. So Jackson and Bergeron bring it down pit road here to the work area to have repairs made. They get the repairs made and they will roll back out onto the field. Let's watch the replay here. Keith Jackson brings it into the corner, and it looks like 2 cars were already sideways. It's hard to tell. It looked like the 56 of David Flick, and I think it might have been the 31. Might have been the 31 of Alan Downey that got caught up in that as well. Oh, yep. Downey going into the corner. Little contact from Flick from behind, and in a pirouette they go. Great job there with the replays there. Brad Ovens doing some great work for us here. Again, 39 Streaming, the official streaming provider of the Renegades division of the Ohsweken Outlaws, the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, and the Rivalz Blacktop Series on Wednesday nights. Coming back to green, and Nygaard using the bottom lane off turn 4 that time. He'll lead them into turn number 1 as he'll go all the way upstairs, up top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Nygaard with the power off turn number 2, and he'll take it down into 3 and 4. Larry Moody is right there with him. Moody is not letting Nygaard get away, but now he's got to contend with Troy Wagaman. Wagaman up to upstairs as well, as he will work around Larry Moody, and he'll put a wheel in front as they go to turn number 3. New second place car, it's Troy Wagaman. And if memory serves me correctly, Troy Wagaman has an Elite Pro Series win here at the Williams Grove Speedway, so that should be to the surprise of nobody. Sean Timmerman has clawed his way up to position number 4 after starting 6th on the field tonight. Meanwhile, they've got a great battle going on behind them as Ryan Beagle is taking it down to the inside lane. Or excuse me, that's Cody Hartlaub in the 2. Hartlaub racing with Jason Minat in the 14. Barker, Beagle, and GT Smith battle right behind them. Good battle for position as they work down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. All sorts of racing lines. I see 4 different racing lines being used right there in 1 and 2 that time as we watch this gaggle of cars hustle in these rides through turns 3 and 4. Cody Hartlaub picks up a spot there on Minat. So Hartlaub is up to position number 5. The Glenn Stiers Racing NREM Dynamics number 2. Hartlaub out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. Timmerman has gotten around Moody for position number 3. So move Timmerman up to a podium spot. But look at this gaggle into turn 1. 2 by 2 they go. From 6th on back, it's Minat, Barker, Beagle, GT Smith, and Alex Bergeron. So Bergeron back up to position number 10 after getting caught up in 2 jingles here tonight. Fighting on that low lane as you're right on board. As they haul it off into turn number 1, you're right on board with Bergeron, who works underneath Jeff Barker as they bring it off turn 2. Just ahead of him, you got Ryan Beagle and the 14 of Minat. Minat hit the guardrail going into 3 that time, but he's able to carry enough momentum that he was able to get the position back from Beagle. Beagle under fire from Alex Bergeron off turn 2. Bergeron sneaks by the big dog. Leave a biscuit at the door. Bergeron's up to just outside of the top 5, as now he'll take a spot away from Minat off turn 4. So Alex Bergeron up to position number 6 here on lap 21. Still a long way to go, 14 to go. And now he takes the 5 spot away from Hartlaub. Alex Bergeron on a tear. Coming up through this field, he's cracked into the top 5 for the first time tonight. Now Bergeron down to the inside of Larry Moody, and now he'll take away the 4 spot. So Bergeron, who started 10th, got involved in an early jingle, went back as far as 20th place on the restart, got involved in a second jingle, has now clawed his way through this field up to position number 4. Meanwhile, Timmerman and Wagaman doing a battle here to turns 3 and 4. Timmerman down on the extreme bottom side of the racetrack, trying to find that brown moisture down low. As Wagaman charging hard into turns 1 and 2, takes it all the way to the guardrail, and now he's 2 car lengths off of Nygaard as they go to turn 3. Here comes Troy Wagaman, trying to put a battle together. Now he'll try and diamond off of turn number 4. And he is putting a run together here on Jason Nygaard, looking for the slider into turns 1 and 2. New race leader, it's Wagaman. But Nygaard turns it right back underneath him. Nygaard takes the lead back into turn 3. Here goes Wagaman with a slider. Nygaard will turn back low off turn 4, but at the line, it was Nygaard by 24 one-thousandths of a second. And now your top 4 cars are all under a tablecloth down the back straightaway. Top 4 positions up for grabs here, 26 laps into this race. Coming up on 27, and that'll give us 8 to go. What a battle here at the Williams Grove Speedway for the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Wagaman with a slider into turn number 2. New race leader off. Oh, they're 3 wide for the lead under the bridge. Here goes Timmerman for the top spot. Bergeron is right there with him. Oh, Nygaard got the guardrail, and here comes Wagaman through the window. 3 wide, and Troy Wagaman takes the lead. Holy cow. I don't think we've seen a race for the top spot this good all season long. We've seen some dandies, but 4 cars all at the same time. That I'm not sure we've seen. Timmerman down to the bottom. New race leader at the line. It's Timmerman with 6 to go. Now Wagaman absolutely powers off turn 2, but Timmerman found the moisture down low, and now Bergeron's up to 3. Wagaman's not going to give up that outside lane as he had to get on the brakes there to not catch the guardrail. And Bergeron will squeak out the second spot at the line, but Wagaman's not done. Wagaman with the slider line through turns 1 and 2, and the yellow lights are on. Oh, we had such a good race for the lead up front, and we're going to catch a caution here with 5 to go. Now make it 4 to go. What a series of events here battling for the lead at the Williams Grove Speedway. And if you didn't know before, you know now why they pack this place every Friday night during the spring and summer months. Williams Grove Speedway, home of the National Open. What a run here, as we're going to come up on close to what'll be a green-white checkered finish. We've seen a few of those here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series this season. Brad Ovens working on a replay for us here, see if we can figure out what put us under this yellow flag. Well, if you haven't let us know already, I want to ask you that are watching the video here tonight to let us know where you're watching from, city, state, or province, where you're watching from. And if you also want to let us know who you think's going to win this race. You've got Sean Timmerman leading. He just took the lead a couple laps ago. Alex Bergeron started 10th, went back as far as 20th, has been involved in 2 accidents, and has come all the way back to 2nd. Troy Wagaman will restart 3rd. He's led several laps in this race, albeit in the last 10 laps or so. Jason Nygaard's absolutely dominated this race from the drop of the green flag. He runs 4. Cody Hartlaub right now rounds out your top 5. It will be a single file restart, and this is our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. In the event that we're unable to finish this race under the checkered flag, under green, we will make a second attempt at a green-white checkered finish. If under that second green-white checkered finish, we get a yellow flag, the race will be over. Here we go. Bring it off at turn number 4 for the restart. Green-white checkered. We'll decide it here at Williams Grove, and Timmerman with a great restart. He took 2 car lengths to turns 1 and 2, but he lost about a car length and a half of those as Bergeron is closing in. But Bergeron's going to have to find a way around Timmerman because Timmerman is not going to open up the inside lane. He shut the door hard off turn 4 that time. White flag is out. Could Wagaman steal the show on the outside lane? I can guarantee you Timmerman is not going to budge off the bottom. Here goes Alex Bergeron up to the top side. If he's going to win the race, this is how he's going to do it. Off turn 4 for the final time. Drag race to the line. Timmerman wins. Timmerman beats Bergeron to the line. Bergeron will finish 2nd. Wagaman will be 3rd. Jason Nygaard 4th, and Cody Hartlaub will round out the top 5. What a finish. Bergeron gave it everything he had up on the cushion, but Timmerman knew that that was the line that was going to win this race, and kudos to Sean Timmerman. He had to be perfect for 3 laps, and that's exactly what he did. So Field will make their way down to victory lane, and we will head that way as well here. We'll hear from your top 3 finishers here in just a moment. Stay tuned, folks. You're watching live coverage of the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here on 3-9 Streaming and Turn 5 Media. Welcome back, fans. What a finish you got to see here tonight from the Williams Grove Speedway Rivalz Elite Pro Series here at the Grove. And we're going to hear from your top 3 finishers here tonight. let's go ahead and bring in your third-place finisher tonight, Troy Wagaman, who has got a win here at the Williams Grove Speedway in the past. Troy, you had a solid setup again here tonight and had a strong showing, ran top 5 all race long.
Yeah, I got to the lead there and did not want to see that caution. And just the worst timing, and I felt like we could have put on a real good battle there for the lead. Just couldn't quite get back to him there on that late run, but yeah, it was a good run. The track was just completely different than the last time we were here. We were actually up on the 10 there.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about battling for the lead. You four put on one of the best battles for the lead among so many different cars that we've seen all season long, and there was an awful lot of respect being given out there.
It was actually really awesome. I mean, you could run all over the track, which was pretty good. Not many tracks usually gets one lane dominant, and here you could roll real low on the bottom or the middle, rip the fence, whatever you need to do. And the guy on the bottom was giving us a lot of respect to run 3 wide like that. He didn't have to do that. He could have really shut us down, and he ended up winning, but much respect.
Well, a great run for you here tonight. I see that you've got some folks there on the car, and I want to give you an opportunity to give them a shout out here for your great run tonight.
I just got to thank Enram and Oswego and you guys for putting this on.
And one last question, Troy. What more did you need at the end? Was it an adjustment here or there, or was it just the brakes of how the yellows felt tonight?
I think the caution was the biggest thing, but I screwed up the lap before, just a hair off too. It allowed them guys to get a nose on me because as soon as the caution came out, he just passed me at the flag stand, and that was
Well, great job to you tonight, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there's Troy Wagaman finishing in position number 3 here tonight. Next up, we're going to hear from a driver who had, let's just say, to put it mildly, an eventful night. Alex Bergeron, you, sir, were a busy guy tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We had issues there at the beginning of the race. Got involved in an incident and went back in the pits and got some damage fixed, and we went back out and went from 24th to second. So that was a nice run.
That battle with all 4 of you cars there at the end, that was an absolutely incredible battle for the lead. And I was just talking to Troy about the fact that there was a lot of respect being given in that great race for the lead.
Yeah, it was pretty clean up front. Jason ran up front most of the race, and the bottom just came in real fast, way quicker than the top. And we all 4 guys were just battling up front side by side, and that was fun racing. So I tried everything there on the last restart with 2 laps to go and tried to top out of 4 and kind of missed it a little bit, but I'm sure if I would have hit it perfectly, I would have probably won the race. But Sean did a great job and he yelled me off, so good job to him.
And at that point, going to the outside was about the only option you had. You were either going to run the bottom and follow him across the line for second, or go to the top and try and make something happen. That was really the cards you got dealt tonight.
Yeah, I like I said, we went from dead last to second, and I can't ask for more. I didn't expect to be up front after what happened, and that's a good job from Team ABR. We got a second and a fourth, so it's a pretty nice week for us.
Absolutely, Alex. Tell us about the folks that helped make it happen for you guys.
I got to thank everybody at Team ABR, as usual. Jason, you ran good tonight. Girlfriend Rebecca, my dad for watching, all our partners, CSI Shocks, BitLogic app, BK Designs for all the racing paints, Myring Farm Equipments, and all the fans out there for tuning in. Rivalz for bringing this up, and you guys for doing an awesome job broadcasting.
All right, great job tonight, Alex. Great run.
Thank you.
All right, there's Alex Bergeron finishing in position number 2 here tonight. But he fell 1 spot short because tonight's winner, Sean Timmerman, aboard car number 24. And Sean, I got to tell you, man, you found that bottom lane there late in this race, and that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how I found the bottom, because every time I run here, I just struggle on the bottom, and I can't ever run it, and all of a sudden just tonight it just all clicked.
It's got to, we've seen with the Ohsweken Outlaws last night, it just takes so much patience to run that bottom, because if you get on the gas too fast, you're going to light the tires up and the back end's going to come out from underneath you. It just takes so much patience to make that bottom work.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that there's almost no grip down there, and you got to get your left front wheel right to the guardrail, and if you clip that, you're almost
Absolutely. That race with all four of you cars there for the lead, I think that might have been the best race for the lead we've seen all season long, with four cars just duking it out, but at the same time giving each other plenty of room to work with and really put on a show for the fans tonight.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. I think a few times we went 3 wide, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I was hoping we wouldn't wreck, and we all kept.
Yeah, it was pretty outstanding. Tell us about your night. Did you have to come through the gauntlet race tonight? Is that what I read?
Yeah, I had to qualify through the gauntlet series. I have to finish top 5 in there to transfer into this race, and it's always fun making it extra.
Absolutely. So with that being said, does that make this win for you tonight just that much more special? Because it wasn't just showing up at 9 o'clock tonight. You really had to commit tonight, showing up at 7 o'clock, running well at a different racetrack, mind you. I mean, the gauntlet race wasn't at Williams Grove, so you had to come out tonight swinging with setups for 2 different racetracks. That's got to make this win pretty special for you.
Yeah, not only that, but being able to hold off, one of the best in the business of Alec Bergeron, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt either, does it?
No, it doesn't.
All right, man. Well, you get to be you get to be the king of your buddies here for this week. So enjoy that. Tell us about some of the folks that are on the side of the 24 machine.
Well, I first couldn't have done it tonight without Cody Olson. Building this amazing setup, and then all of our sponsors: Dirt Co Media House, Sprint Car Insider, Dirt Car Racing Gear, and Ram Graphics Design.
Well, great job to you tonight, Sean. Any other thoughts tonight on tonight's race? I mean, Jason was dominated the front half of this race, and man, you really turned it on late and put on a good show.
Yeah, once I think Jason and whoever finished, or whoever was running second at the time, once they got battling, I really railed them in, and I'm like, oh, I got shot.
Yeah, I imagine your eyes had to have been like saucers when you saw them racing like they were.
Not only that, but my heart was pumping.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you, Sean, you're a great example tonight. I know there's been a lot of conversation about iRacing and sim racers this week all over social media, but you're a great example tonight, man. You got up on the wheel. Not anybody can just jump into this and get the job done. Great job to you tonight.
Great, thank you.
All right, there's your winner. Sean Timmerman here tonight with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. And fans, you tuned in for a dandy. Again, our apologies for not being able to show you the heat race tonight, but we had a little technical difficulty that we've got figured out, and we'll be back and ready to go with you tomorrow night, just about 8:45 tomorrow night for the Rivalz Blacktop Series. And then next we will kick things off again on Monday night with the Ohsweken Outlaws Renegades Division. Monday night at 9:30, excuse me. Tuesday night at 9:15, we'll kick off coverage here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. And then again, next Wednesday night, back with the Rivalz Blacktop Series. 3 straight nights of racing action here on 3-9 Streaming and Turn 5 Media. We hope you join us for that. Make sure to visit rivalsracingleague.com and Rivalz Racing League on Facebook for all the information, schedule, results, point standings. You can find it all on the Rivalz Racing League Facebook and web pages. Again, that's Rivalz Racing League. And again, that's Rivalz with a Z, rivalsracingleague.com. And then on Facebook.com, it's facebook.com/Rivalz Racing. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of our coverage. On behalf of Clinton Jeffrey, Adam Ross, Cody Olson, the entire staff here at the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, on behalf of executive producer of 3-9 Streaming, Brad Ovens, in our 3-9 Streaming headquarters in Penn Yan. My name is Steve Ovens, coming to you from the Turn 5 Media headquarters in Horseheads, New York, saying thank you, fans, for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8:45 for the Rivalz Blacktop Series. From the Williams Grove Speedway, congratulations to Sean Timmerman, winner here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Good night, everybody.